Welcome back, everyone, to our deep dive into trading in the zone. I hope you all enjoyed the previous chapters. And you're ready for Chapter 10, which is the impact of beliefs on trading. This is where things get really, really interesting.
Absolutely. This is really where the mental game of trading comes in. And Douglas challenges us to confront those invisible forces that are
Right.
our beliefs and how they might be holding us back from consistent success in the markets.
So from the start, Douglas throws out this idea that beliefs aren't just some fleeting thoughts. He says they actually have structured energy.
Right.
What does he mean by that?
Well, he's suggesting that beliefs are much more powerful than we often realize. And they're like programs that
Yeah.
are operating in the background
Yeah.
of our minds that influence how we see information and make decisions, even when we're not consciously aware of it.
So it's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about understanding how these beliefs, even subconscious ones, are actually shaping our actions in the trading world.
Exactly. And to really illustrate this, Douglas outlines 3 key characteristics of beliefs that are important for us to kind of wrap our heads around.
Okay.
And the first one is the resistance to change. Beliefs don't disappear overnight. They have a natural tendency to hold on to their form, even when they're presented with contradictory evidence.
That makes sense. It's like, imagine trying to change someone's deeply held political opinions. You can show them all the facts and figures you want,
Yeah.
but those beliefs are often very deeply entrenched.
Right. Absolutely.
So how does this work in trading?
It means that even when we intellectually understand a concept, like the importance of risk management, our underlying beliefs might sabotage our actions.
Okay.
So, for example, you might know that you should cut your losses, but a deep-seated fear of failure might prevent you from actually doing it.
That's a great point. I think a lot of us listening can relate to that internal struggle. So if beliefs are so resistant to change, how can we actually start to shift those that aren't serving us in our trading?
That brings us to the second characteristic of beliefs, and that is the demand for expression.
Okay.
They're not passive. They actively seek to influence our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions.
So even if we're trying to suppress a belief, it's still going to find a way to kind of come out.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some real-life examples of this in trading?
So think about a time when you felt that surge of anxiety, when a trade started moving against you. Even though you know logically that losses are a part of the game, that anxiety is a manifestation of a belief, perhaps a fear of being wrong, or a need for control, demanding to be acknowledged.
I've been there. I've
Yeah.
definitely been there. It's like
Yeah.
that feeling takes over, and
Right.
suddenly you're not thinking clearly anymore.
Right, you're not in control of your own actions.
Exactly. Which brings us to the third characteristic of beliefs, and this is maybe the most crucial. They can operate subconsciously.
Yes, we don't have to be actively thinking about them for them to be impacting our behavior.
It's almost like an aha moment, isn't it? Like to realize that beliefs that we formed years ago, maybe beliefs that we've completely forgotten about, could still be driving our trading decisions today without us even realizing it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there.
It is a little unsettling to think about, right?
It is, but it's also kind of empowering
Yeah.
because it means we can change them.
Yes, exactly. Once we're aware of them, we can start to change them.
So if we're operating on autopilot, those subconscious beliefs are calling the shots.
Right.
But if we bring those beliefs into our conscious awareness, we can challenge them, we can question them,
Mhm.
and ultimately choose whether or not they're serving us.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful ways to challenge those beliefs is through what Douglas calls creative experiences.
Okay, so these are moments when we encounter new information or have an experience that contradicts our existing beliefs.
Right.
You know, earlier you mentioned the example of someone who intellectually understands risk management, but still struggles to cut their losses because of a fear of failure. Could a creative experience help in that situation?
Absolutely. So imagine that trader keeps a detailed trading journal, and they start to notice a pattern.
Well,
They see that every time they hold on to a losing trade, hoping it'll turn around, the losses just get bigger. But when they cut their losses early, they're able to preserve capital and stay in the game.
so the trading journal becomes a tool for creating a new experience. That challenges the old belief
Exactly. They get to see it.
that holding on is always the best strategy.
Yeah.
You're seeing the data with your own eyes
Yeah.
rather than just thinking about it.
Right. That's the power of creative experiences.
Yeah, real-world feedback to reinforce or challenge our existing beliefs.
Exactly.
I'm curious, even when we have these aha moments,
Yeah.
these creative experiences, how do we actually shift the energy from the old limiting beliefs to new and more empowering ones.
Well, that's where the work comes in. It's not a passive process. It requires conscious effort and practice. And one of the key concepts Douglas introduces is self-valuation.
Self-valuation. I remember that from the chapter. Remind us what that means
Yeah.
and how it relates to this process of shifting our beliefs.
Sure. So self-valuation refers to our deeply held beliefs about our worthiness.
Okay. Of success
Yeah.
and abundance. It's how we value ourselves,
Uh-huh.
particularly in relation to money and achievement.
Exactly.
Or if we have a low self-valuation, if we don't believe we deserve to be successful, it won't matter how many winning trades we have. That underlying belief is going to be there, undermining our efforts.
That's right. And Douglas argues that a lot of us carry around these limiting beliefs about our worthiness that come from childhood experiences, societal conditioning, or even past failures.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how this all connects. So we have these subconscious beliefs, often about our self-worth, and that's driving our trading decisions. Then we have these creative experiences that can either reinforce or challenge them, but to truly shift those beliefs, we need to work on our self-valuation.
Yes, our sense of worthiness.
That's the key, recognizing that our beliefs are fluid, and we can reshape them to support our goals
Exactly.
rather than sabotage them. It makes sense, but it sounds like a lot of work. Are there any specific techniques or practices that Douglas recommends for cultivating a higher self-valuation?
He does offer some guidance, but there's no magic formula or quick fix. It's about a fundamental shift in perspective.
Okay.
And one of the things he really emphasizes is taking responsibility for our results.
Okay. It's really easy to blame the market or the news or bad luck for our losses.
Right. But that keeps us stuck
Yeah, in a victim mentality.
in a victim mentality. Yeah.
So instead of saying the market's against me, we should ask ourselves, what role did my beliefs and actions play in this outcome?
Exactly. When we take ownership, it empowers us to identify those beliefs that might be driving the actions.
Okay. And then from there, we can choose to believe something different.
Yes. That's the key.
But that sounds easier said than done. How do we just choose to believe something that we don't actually feel ducked down?
Well, it's a process. It starts with awareness. So once you identify a limiting belief, you start to question it.
Okay.
Ask yourself, is this belief really true? What evidence do I have to support it? And is this belief serving me or is it holding me back?
So instead of just accepting these beliefs as facts, we can start to examine them with a critical eye.
Yes. Be a detective.
Yeah, looking for clues and evidence to support or refute those beliefs.
Exactly.
And as we gather that evidence, we can start to introduce new, more empowering beliefs.
That's right. That might involve affirmations or visualizations, surrounding yourself with people who embody the beliefs that you want to cultivate.
So it's not just thinking positive thoughts. It's about creating experiences that support them.
Exactly.
To solidify those new beliefs.
Align your actions, your thoughts, and your environment to create a consistent message that reinforces those new beliefs.
Throughout this chapter, Douglas used the analogy of the boy who's terrified of dogs.
Yeah.
Can you connect that to what we've been discussing about beliefs in trading?
Sure. The boy represents all of us who are holding on to these beliefs that limit our potential.
Okay. His fear of dogs is like our fear of losing money, our fear of failure, our belief that we're not good enough to succeed.
Exactly. And all the other kids playing happily with the dogs represent those traders who seem to navigate the markets effortlessly.
Yeah, the ones that have mastered their emotions and consistently achieve their goals.
Exactly.
But just like that boy can't just erase his fear overnight. We can't just magically switch our beliefs.
Right. It takes time and effort and consistent action.
So we need to be patient with ourselves and recognize that it's a journey and just focus on taking those small, consistent steps.
Yes. The goal is not to be fearless or emotionless.
Okay.
It's about learning to manage our emotions effectively so they don't sabotage our decisions.
It's not about denying our emotions. It's about understanding them, accepting them, and learning to work with them rather than against them.
Exactly.
Developing that mental resilience
Yeah.
and emotional intelligence to navigate the market's ups and downs without letting our beliefs derail us.
Yes.
This has been a really insightful discussion. Before we wrap up, let's just quickly recap the key takeaways from this chapter.
Sure.
First, we learned that beliefs are more than just thoughts. They have structured energy that shape our perceptions and our emotions and our actions, often subconsciously.
Yeah.
Second, we explored those three characteristics of beliefs: their resistance to change, their demand for expression, and their ability to operate subconsciously. Third, we discussed the concept of self-valuation and how important it is to cultivate that deep belief in our own worthiness
Yeah.
of success and abundance. And finally, we talk about how creative experiences can challenge our existing beliefs and create opportunities for growth and transformation. This is a really powerful framework for understanding the mental game of trading and for developing the self-awareness and discipline we need to achieve consistent success in the markets.
It is.
Well, thank you so much for guiding us through this chapter.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.
It's clear that mastering our beliefs is just as important as mastering any technical skill when it comes to trading.
I agree.
So stay tuned for our final deep dive into the last chapter of Trading in the Zone coming soon. We'll explore how all of these concepts come together to create a powerful framework for consistent trading success. Until then, happy trading, everybody.